What's going on, YouTube? So the Acura MDX is by far the best-selling Acura, and as a matter of fact, it's also been one of the best-selling three rows for 2 decades.
And we are here in San Diego, California with the refreshed 2025 model that has some major tech enhancements and design enhancements.
So is this refreshed 2025 MDX the luxury SUV you've been waiting for? Let's go ahead and find out. All right, so what better place to start off this review than discussing the exterior design changes for this MDX. But before we get to that, I do want to point out some important trim differences as well for this 2025 model. Acura has finally added the a-spec advanced trim level to the lineup. So that's a big change this year. And I do want to point out that the Type S is only going to be available in one variety this year, so it's no longer in base and advanced form. But with all that being said, let's go ahead and check out the exterior design. Now, up here in the front, you will notice that signature MDX look. New for 2025 is we are going to have a frameless diamond pentagon grille, which is a really nice look. That's going to be on your sport trim levels. And here on the Type S, we do also have Type S branding. Now, as we drop down to this lower area, you will notice that this is all going to be a lot sportier than before, and that's because Acura has added these elements down below the headlights for the Type S and the a-spec models to give you that sportier look. I really like the overall design. Now, as we head up to our headlights, we're going to have the LED jewel eye setup. So this is going to be mostly the same as last year. They're a beautiful headlight design, full LED. We also have an LED turn signal and daytime running light through here. It is going to be a new smoked finish this year. And then down here in the lower area, you will notice that we have LED fog lights on most models. As far as your ground clearance, you're capable of up to 9.4 inches of ground clearance because this Type S does have an air suspension. And walking around to the rear of this refresh MDX, you will notice that less has changed back here overall, but that's not to say Acura hasn't made any changes. They actually have done a few things to just kind of make it a little bit more fresh this year. And, you know, Josh is with me helping out filming today since Drew wasn't able to make it to California, and he's going to go ahead and hop inside so we can check out these taillight elements and see if they're all LED this year. So as you can see for the accenting, that's all LED. We also have an LED brake light and an LED reverse light and LED turn signal indicator. So your full LED taillights are standard across the board, and new for 2025, it does have a smoked finish. So the overall shape is the same, but we have a new finish this year. Now, as far as other elements, we have a wiper right here. Dropping down to the lower diffuser, I'm very happy to tell you guys that we're gonna keep the quad exhaust outlets here on the Type S variant. If you choose the regular MDX models, you will have kind of a trapezoidal shape to the exhaust system. Your tow rating is gonna come in at 3,500 pounds with front drive, or 5,000 pounds with all-wheel drive. Now, no refresh would be complete without new wheel designs, and indeed, almost every single trim level of the MDX this year is going to get a new wheel design. Now, you're seeing right here on this Type S that we have a 21-inch alloy wheel. This is a beautiful overall look. As you can see, we have the contrast finish here, and what they've kind of done is made most of it open so you can see these awesome Brembo brakes back behind it. Now, I want to point out for the other trim levels, you will have 20-inch wheel options, and then the base model is going to have a 19-inch alloy. Now, as far as our wheel surrounds, here on the Type S model, we are going to have the black wheel surrounds. If you choose the advanced, you'll actually get body color. Then as we head up to the mirrors, these are going to be finished in a gloss black, and they're going to be fully loaded with features here on this Type S model, including power folding, auto dimming, and blind spot monitoring. And blind spot monitoring standard on all versions. Now, here at the side, we come in at an overall vehicle length of 198.4 inches. On this model, we have blacked out window surrounds as well as the roof rails. Now, I also want to mention the new color options for 2025. You're looking at one of them. This is Urban Gray. So we've seen that on some other Acura products. That's now made it to the MDX. There's also a new Canyon River Blue paint color as well. Now, when it comes to your safety systems, this is an important area of change this year as well, because not only are you going to get all the safety systems as standard equipment, they have improved all the radars and the functionality of those safety systems. Additionally, if you choose the Type S, you're going to get even more advanced safety features, including things like auto lane change. But guys, there is a blue interior waiting for you, so let's dive into that. But first, if you're new here, we're brothers, and we've been reviewing cars since we were 12
and 16. We may be young, but we love cars.
And we'd love for you to subscribe to be a part of our Car Confections family. Let's learn a lot, have some fun with all the latest cars. All right, but there are some big tech and luxury improvements on the inside, so let's go ahead and dive into that. But first, I do want to point out your key fob. This is your typical Acura key fob. It's actually quite nice. You have some, metal on the side, some glass through here, even Type S branding. And then as far as your controls, you will notice that we do have remote start. That's going to be included on the advanced versions of this vehicle, and Smart Entry is standard equipment. Now, as you walk up to the vehicle, just put your hand behind the handle and that will unlock the door and fold out the mirrors. And I'll back out of the way and let Josh come inside and show you this lovely interior design. Now you will notice that it's more of an evolution on the inside rather than a radical redesign, but that's not to say there aren't very meaningful updates for 2025. Now, before we get into that, I do want to mention your seating and color choices. Now you will notice here on this model that we have a premium quilted Milano leather. Now, Milano leather is actually going to be standard on the vast majority of models, all but that very base version. However, the premium quilted is going to be on your higher end models. Additionally, here on the Type S, you will notice that we have an exclusive blue color option, which is really quite neat. And we also are going to have the suede accents here on the side. Now, as far as the seat adjustments themselves, they are going to be highly adjustable on all models. However, when you choose the advanced models, you will have a 16-way power adjusting seat. You even have things like thigh extension, and I want to point out you also have massage. So very happy to see that. It's no longer Type S exclusive. You can get it on the Advance, the A-spec Advance, and the Type S. So a lot more availability of that. And I will point out that these are really good massaging seats for both butt and back. Now over on the door trim, you will notice that we have 3-person memory seats. Those are standard on every MDX, and passenger memory is included on all but the base model. But let's go ahead and hop inside. Now, shutting up the door there, you will notice you have a little bit of an animation that plays on the display. But as always, let's go ahead and start out by talking about overall material quality. So over here on the door trim for this model, you will notice that we have leather all through here, leather in the center section, and a padded plastic on the upper part. Here with this blue interior, we have a beautiful open pore wood going all through here. As we rise up on the dashboard, this is all going to be finished in a leatherette material all through this part as well. More of that open pore wood. You are going to get piano black through here, but you get a nice leatherette going through this part where your knees are going to rest against. Overall, I will say that the materials inside of this cabin are quite nice. It's going to be nicer than a lot of those other main rivals, like the Lexus TX, for instance. However, I would maybe have liked them to use more wood trim over here instead of the piano black. But let's go ahead and start it up. Now, there are some really big tech enhancements for 2025, but as always, we'll go ahead and start out by talking about the gauge cluster. Now, you will notice that we have a 12.3-inch fully digital gauge cluster. That's the same as last year. However, new this year, you can put stuff like Google Maps in the gauge cluster, which is a nice touch, and that's standard across all models. Now, as we look up at the windshield, you will also notice that we have a head-up display. That's going to be included on advanced trim levels. Coming back to the steering wheel, we have a beautiful leather-wrapped steering wheel. As you can see, we have the perforations going on the side. We also have Type S branding. This steering wheel is also going to be heated on advanced models, and it's standard power tilt and telescoping on all models. We're also going to have rain-sensing wipers. But the MDX has always been good at interior storage, so let's go ahead and dive into this aspect of this vehicle. So to open up the center console, we do have a little lever right here. That's going to reveal this center console with donuts stuffed inside. So one of the things that we do in all of our Car Confections reviews is get the donut measure because, well, first of all, that's our emblem, and second of all, it helps us measure center console volume. In this MDX, we are fitting a dozen donuts, which does mean that it passes the interior storage test. So pretty good overall. It's going to be better than a lot of those German rivals. Now you will notice that this area is redesigned for 2025. You no longer have that trackpad and handrest area, so that means you have a larger wireless phone charging pad right here front and center, easy reach for the driver. You also have your cup holders here, and then another little storage cubby right there. Now moving on from that, we also have our push button shifter. This is going to stay the same this year. To select drive, you just put your foot on the brake and push that button right there. If we go into reverse, you will notice that we have a 360-degree camera system. This is going to be standard on advanced trim levels of this model, which does mean that for 2025, you can now get the a-spec with the 360 camera. So if you choose that a-spec Advance, you will now have the 360 ability, which certainly is a big improvement and something that a lot of buyers were looking for. Now, just press the P to go into park. You also have your auto start stop defeat and brake hold right there. Over on the side, you also have a USB-C and a port to keep things charged up. Now, when it comes to the audio systems, there is some really big news for 2025, and that's the fact that we have some really powerful audio systems on board. Now, unfortunately, I can't give you an audio sample just yet. Stay tuned, that will be coming to the channel though, so never fear, but we have the most powerful audio system that's ever been equipped in an Acura vehicle here on this Type S model. As a matter of fact, it's a 31 speaker Bang & Olufsen audio system. So that's really going to be the new thing this year, is that it's now a Bang & Olufsen system as compared to the previous ELS. Not just on this Type S though, you will get a Bang & Olufsen on all but the very base model. You'll even get a 19 speaker version of that. I do want to point out, you're also going to have really nice touches such as the metal speaker grills. Here on this Type S model, as you can see, it is finished in a nice darkened color and it's real metal, so that obviously elevates your audio experience. Now moving on from that, we have our climate controls. You will notice that we retain the physical buttons to adjust the climate. Very happy about that. A lot of rivals are moving that into the screen, so I like the physical setup here. We're also going to have automatic 3-stage heated and ventilated seats. That's going to be included if you choose anything above the technology model. And then this is also your button to turn on and off the massage. So I like that you have the physical button located right there. But now let's talk about the elephant in the room, the technology enhancements for 2025. So if you remember the 2024 model, you had to use their little finicky touchpad down here to control the screen, but looky here. My finger is controlling the screen. Thank you, Acura. They finally have given us the touchscreen ability for the MDX based on popular demand. Not only that, they've also freshened up this software, and this is using Google built in. So you'll have things like Google Maps natively in the system itself. So we went from one of the worst in the segment to one of the best in the segment when it comes to technology. It is going to be a 12.3-inch display, and as you can see, it is very responsive. Overall performance is quite nice. Now, moving on from that, we have an auto-dimming interior mirror with 3 HomeLink garage door openers. That's standard equipment. Also standard equipment on every MDX is this panoramic sunroof. So I'm happy to see that that continues to be a nice standard feature regardless of what trim level you choose. And now let's quickly talk about the rear seat area in this MDX. Now, for 2025, you're really not going to see much changes back here. So you continue to have an overall legroom figure of about 38.5 inches of legroom, about 38 inches of headroom as well, which places it very much in line with most of its main competition. Now, I'm 5'9" for reference, and this seat is adjusted to my own driving position. As you can see, I have quite a lot of additional knee room, about 10 inches. So you're going to be very happy with the space here in the second row of the MDX. My feet can also partially slide up underneath the seat. The seat itself can also recline to give you additional comfort. So very nice, rear seat area. Now I want to point out something about the MDX that's pretty special, differentiates it from the competition. You're noticing that we have the bench seating configuration. So that does mean that we have a total of 7 seats in this MDX, but the important thing about it is that for those of you who want captain's chairs, you do have that ability. This is the multi-function middle seat. You just pull that strap right there. You kind of get executive seating with a nice armrest, 2 cup holders inside, and you also have a little storage cubby. Now, unlike the Honda Pilot, though, you cannot store this in the vehicle. If you want to remove it entirely, you can do that, but it cannot be stored natively within the vehicle. Now, let's talk about features as well. Here in the center, you are going to have standard climate controls that are adjusted back here. If you choose an advanced model, that's also where you're going to get rear seat heating. No ventilation is offered. So we drop below that, we have a 12-volt outlet, 2 USB-Cs, and we're also, well, that's actually just a blank button, so we do not have a power outlet on any of the MDXs. As far as other features, if you look at the door trim, you will notice that we have rear window sunshades, standard on tech trims and above, nice materials that follow through from the front, wood trim, leather, and then down at the very bottom, we have quite a bit of bottle storage. Certainly nice to see that much space. It would fit my Stanley water bottle, no problem. And let's check out the third row. In order to get back here, they've made it really easy. Just press that button right there. That's going to tilt and slide the seat right out of the way. Now, hopping into the MDX's third row, you're not going to see any changes for 2025, so we're still going to have about 29 inches of leg room. The headroom is going to be a little bit lacking as well. I'm about 5'9", and my head is starting to scrape the ceiling. Keep in mind this seat is adjusted all the way back, but as you can see, I don't have any additional leg room for someone of my size. However, my feet can slide up underneath the seat. The thigh support, I would give, kind of a C average score for this segment, although it's not going to be as good as the Lexus TX, for instance. Do keep in mind you have 2 third row seats. And one of the things that I'm very disappointed about is that this is not including rear air vents. I was really hoping Acura would include that for the refresh. No vents back here in the third row, so on a hot day you might kind of suffocate back here. We do have a cup holder though, and a USB port. It's a Type A USB. As far as how it lands on the third row rating scale, I'm going to say this is fit for kids only. I think the in-laws would be more than mad if you threw them back here. Walking up to the tailgate, we do have a standard power tailgate on all MDXs. And then let's go ahead and talk about the space. So for the refresh, this remains the same, 16 cubic feet behind the third row of seats. If we fold those down, which, by the way, they are going to be manual folding setup. Now, it's really easy to fold them. However, for this price point, I certainly would like to see power folding. We're going to have a little bit more space when we fold that down. To be exact, 39 cubic feet, and then as a maximum, we're looking at 71.4 cubic feet. Now, let's talk about this. Probably the main vehicle that people will be cross-shopping this with is the Lexus TX. That's going to have a lot more space, and it also is going to have a power folding third row. So if that matters a lot to you, that may be your better choice. But I'm going to go ahead and go up there and fold the second row down. There are not any handles in the cargo area to do so. And when I do that, you can tell that we do have a completely flat loading floor. And one of the things that we also do in all of our Car Confections reviews is get our cargo length and width figures, really all the dimensions. So we're sitting at an overall 85 inches of cargo length with the seats folded down behind my driving position. That's certainly pretty good. Behind the second row of seats, about 46 inches of length. Behind the third row, about 22 inches. As far as overall width and opening, solid 46 inches, and then height, that's going to be about 29, so a little bit shorter than some of the rivals. If we lift up the cargo floor, you do have additional space up underneath of here. And when it comes to the spare tire, that would be integrated up underneath of the bumper. It looks like this particular model doesn't have it installed for whatever reason, but I do believe that you will get a spare tire on this model. All right, so I went ahead and popped the hood of this MDX, and let's go ahead and talk about what you're gonna get. Now, I'm very happy to tell you that for this refresh, you're keeping the V6 engine options. As a matter of fact, this Type S model is going to remain the same this year, so this is gonna be a 3-liter turbo V6. This is making 355 horsepower, 354 pound-feet of torque, so very healthy numbers, right in line with those German rivals. Now, of course, you're also gonna have the standard engine option that most MDX buyers will choose, and that's the 3.5-liter V6 making 290 horsepower. You're also going to have that routed to the ground via a 10-speed automatic transmission, regardless of which model you choose.
Now you do have the option of front-wheel drive or super handling all-wheel drive, though that will be standard on the majority of the models. And then if you choose front-wheel drive, your combined fuel economy will be 22 miles to the gallon. All-wheel drive on the standard 3.5 V6 is 21 miles to the gallon, and if you choose this Type S here, it will be 19 miles to the gallon.
Now, there's a lot to talk about when it comes to the driving experience of this vehicle, and we can't wait to get into all of those details. However, in order to provide you this review as early as possible, we are under a driving impressions embargo until July the 9th. So you're not going to wait too much longer to get those drive impressions, but we are under embargo for it now. So be sure to go ahead and set your calendar for July 9th, where we'll be talking all about the drive experience for this new MDX. And there are some things that Acura is promising with that. For one, they said that they have increased the sound deadening, so we're going to put that to the test with our signature sound level reading. And this Type S model is coming with a standard air suspension, so we're also going to be talking about that, so you won't want to miss out. And let's talk pricing for 2025. We do have those official numbers for you. We start at around $51,000 this year, which represents about $1,000 price premium over last year. You can see all the other trim breakdown on the screen right now. Notably, the A-spec Advanced trim level, the new one this year, $68,000 is that price, and this Type S model is going to start at $74,950. When we add in options, we're going to be sitting around $76,000 fully loaded up, for an example, like what we have today. Now, if you're looking to buy an Acura MDX or any new vehicle, we would encourage you to go to carconfections.com/newcarquotes. Now, the reason you do that is because we have a tool on our website that will connect you with local car dealers in your area to get you the best price. It's also going to give you access to invoice pricing information, which is a great tool for dealership negotiation. If you'd like to take advantage of that, a link is provided in our video description, and there's also a pinned comment at the top of this video. And now it's time for us to talk about potential resale value and reliability to make sure you are making a smart purchase. Now, first up, we'll talk about resale value. Now, as an economics graduate myself, Drew and I took the time to develop what we think is a good estimate for this Acura MDX's potential resale value. We estimate that this MDX will be worth around 49.9% of its original MSRP after 5 years and 60,000 miles, and around 21% after 10 years and 120,000 miles. Now, it is worth noting that is a very good resale value percentage for a luxury vehicle brand. Really, the only luxury vehicle brand ahead of it would be Lexus, but it's going to be definitely better than BMW, Mercedes, and those types of vehicles.
Now, we've also done the same for predicted reliability by creating the Combined Reliability Index by taking a combination of data from trusted automotive resources. Now, according to our data, Acura is rated above average in relation to all other brands.
Now, if you'd like to learn more about our reliability and resale data, as well as our methodology, be sure to head to carconfections.com/resale and carconfections.com/reliability. Buying a car is a very big decision, so you want to make sure you're making a smart purchase, especially if you're cross-shopping between different vehicle brands. Well, guys, we hope you enjoyed watching this in-depth review of the refreshed 2025 Acura MDX. If you did enjoy it, we would really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button down below. By subscribing, not only are you going to get more car reviews like this, you're also going to be a part of our Car Confections family. We have a lot of fun on this channel that I'm sure you won't want to miss out on. If you're already a part of our family, thank you so much for your continued support. By you supporting us, you help us get invited to events like this where we can come out to California and be some of the first people to check out this refreshed MDX. We'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.